We are unmuted.
All right, here we are again. Welcome back, everyone.
Hey.
How's it going on this beautiful Saturday fall afternoon?
The weather was really gorgeous before, and now it's raining, but at least the kids are napping, so.
Can you turn me down a little bit?
I can turn you down a
The
little bit.
mics are super hot.
So hot.
This is an official broadcast.
And I'm running the board, so it's a
That's right.
it's a thing.
By the way, this is the Craft Parenting Podcast, the podcast about two Cincinnati craft beer lovers with a parenting problem. That problem is going to wake up very soon.
Yeah.
Those problems.
We had some delays.
Some minor delays.
We gonna do what we can do.
That's right. My name is Joe Ludwig, and this is my lovely wife and co-host, Caroline.
Hey there.
So thanks for hanging out with us. We have some mystery beers that we are going to talk about.
I think I figured out what one of them is.
Okay.
So, the reason why these are mystery beers, originally they were not, but then they've been sitting in our beer fridge. So apparently the paint job, and this is going to be hard to see on camera, but the paint job wasn't too great with what the name of the beer was. And so at some point during transit, it all came off. But I do know this is from Urban Harvest Brewing Company in Milwaukee, and it's from their Black Friday 2021 release. And since I can read not, that tells me that it is 2 Not, a chocolate bourbon espresso amber that is 9% ABV.
Oh, yeah. So this is a big one.
The next one's 10.2, I think. So
yeah. So it's a Black Friday release from 2021.
And it still holds up really good. I don't know how much espresso I get, but I definitely get a little bit of bourbon. And I mean, I feel like it's a little chocolatey.
I definitely get a little bit of that bitterness, that chocolate bitterness a little bit.
Can definitely taste the alcohol, but it's not like overpowering.
I don't know if you can see that, but
it's an amber.
It's a lot lighter than I thought it would be.
Yeah, because it's an amber. It's not like they did. Typically, I would see a flavor profile like this in a stout, but they did it with an amber, and it worked out pretty good. So I am not complaining about that.
That's right. So we're hanging out. If you are hanging out, let us know in the chat. We have the chat pulled up, and we are going to just hang out until the kids wake up, I guess.
Yeah, or until we run out of beer that we have at the table.
Or until we run out of beer. We have one more beer if we want to dig into that.
I think we do.
So I kind of had a pee, but of a plan.
I was like, "What? Where is this going?"
I kind of had a pee from a plan, the pee part of the plan.
So the reference for that is in Friends. Phoebe is lamenting about how all of these people have a plan. She doesn't even have a pla.
No.
We have a plan-ish for what we're going to talk about. It's going to be like what has gone on since we talked to Matt and Chanel. Because it's fall, y'all, and stuff has happened. Because we have small children that love the fall.
Well, I was going to say that the plan kind of changed. So,
yeah. Because initially we were going to drink 3 or 4 different alcoholic beverages, and now we're paring that down to 1, maybe 2, so we can cram in as much content before the children
wake up. Yep.
Yeah. I wasn't going to say it, but I was thinking it.
Okay. So why don't you start? Now, what are you doing? You have something in your hand.
Yeah,
And people are probably wondering, what the heck are you doing?
Well, if they're watching the video, yes, they are. Before we recorded video, I would routinely craft while we were podcasting because it helps keep me focused because my hands are busy, so I'm not wandering off in my mind as much. And we recently had the Donauschwaben Society's 31st annual Oktoberfest. And we brought our mug koozies that we had got 5 or 6 years ago at this point. Maybe even more than that. They're old.
Probably 2012.
I don't think they're that old, but they look really grody. And
someone stole mine.
yeah, Joe's actually went missing because people would ask us if they could buy ours. And we're like, no, we use these.
I'm assuming they stole it.
I'm assuming it got stolen as well.
Maybe Josh took it.
Maybe you're
on
right.
accident.
I doubt it, but it's possible. So we had so many people come up to the merchandise booth, which our family runs, and say, hey, where can I get a mug koozie? And we can't find them anywhere other than like, hey, somebody is selling their mildly grody one on eBay, but it's like one. So that ain't going to happen. So I am working on some different prototypes for mug koozies. The first flavor of which will be crocheted. I think the successful one is going to end up being sewn, but I need to clean up my craft room before I can get out my sewing machine and start working on sewing prototypes.
That's right.
So the crochet one's easy to come by. Now, are there like 15 to 30 crochet and knit projects that I should be finishing before I start this one? Possibly.
What about the sewing one that says mom?
That's cross stitch.
Cross stitch.
And at some point I'll have to find that. I know it's in my craft room somewhere because I know it got packed up when we moved. Ages ago, like many moons ago, my mom got this giant, relatively speaking, cross stitch project that is 3 teddy bears and it spells out mom.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was going through a cross-stitching phase my senior year of high school, and I found this project that she hadn't even started. And I said, hey, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to get it framed, and I'm going to give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I started this in high school. I am maybe a third of the way done with it. Because when I told my mom that I was going to frame it and give it to her, or when I told my mom I was going to give it to her, she said she would turn around and frame it and hand it right back to me because by the time I finished it, I myself would be a mom. And now at this point, it wouldn't surprise me if I would be a grandma by the time I actually finish it.
We have to find it first.
I know it's in the craft room, and I know that I have seen it relatively recently.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been a very hot second since I've pulled that one out.
Yep. So Oktoberfest was last weekend.
Yep. The best fest in the West.
To me, that's the last. That's it for Oktoberfest. But there is supposedly an Oktoberfest Quest
Yes.
event, like Grand Champion.
And I'll pull out some Oktoberfest gear for that, like I did last year.
Yeah, so I don't know when he plans on doing that. I feel like he just finished the first round.
He just finished the first round.
And the he we're talking about, of course, is the Gnarly Gnome.
From the Cincinnati Brewcast.
Oh, there we are.
Drink.
There we are.
Just because it's Marco and Julia's drinking game doesn't mean that we can't do it too.
That's right. But yeah, so he is, the Gnarly Gnome is on a quest to find the best Oktoberfest.
Yep.
And round 1 just finished.
Yep, so he's on round 2 now.
I don't know how many rounds there are. I guess
think there's 4 or 5. It starts going faster once he gets through round 1. Because round 1 usually gets slowed down by trying to acquire a bunch of beers as well. But it's also just the sheer number of it. And he recently, we'll see when this episode posts. If you're listening to it live,
yep,
you're good. He has his poll open until like Monday at 8 or 9 p.m. to vote for.
I'll post it as soon as I can.
Okay. So you can vote for whoever got kicked out of the quest to get back into it. And I really debated voting for BJ's Brewhouse like 20 times just so he would, 1, have to drink it again, and 2, it would just get eliminated again. Because he has said multiple times that it is his least favorite Oktoberfest.
Really?
He usually does not say, like, this is my favorite. Or he might say, like, this is my favorite, like, of right now. But he usually doesn't say, like, this is a terrible beer. But he might have said that about BJ's.
I missed that. I'm a little bit behind on the whole podcast thing. Certain 2-year-olds in the house
just want to snuggle and have a buddy.
They don't want to. They don't want their adult supervisor to leave the bed. And usually we end up falling asleep. So
Yeah. I mean, even Lily has times where it's hard for her to go to bed. But
she lets us leave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but so at our Oktoberfest, well, at the Donauschwaben Oktoberfest, we only had one of the Oktoberfest beers that is a part of Oktoberfest Quest on draft because we had Fretboard's Oktoberfest.
Braxton.
Oh, we did have Braxton's as well, so we had two of them. The rest of them were German beers. And it was the first year that we did not have Bud Light.
But we had Miller and Coors.
We had Miller and Coors because our distributor no longer has Bud Light, is what I was told. And we only had like 2 or 3 people that I heard complain about it on Friday or just ask for it, which was very nice. I mean, I feel like most people know at this point you're going to get a really good German beer while you're here. Like Bud Light is not the end all be all.
I mean, we also had a bunch of bottles too.
We did.
So...
And
we have a bunch of variety.
Yeah, and I realized like towards the end of Friday, I think it was, or maybe it was like early in the day on Saturday, that they had a grapefruit beer on draft, and that was so delicious, especially because it was so stinking hot outside.
It was a perfect record-breaking.
I mean, it was perfect for having a fest. Because there was no rain, there was no freezing cold. We've had years where it has snowed before, which a few of us were like, man, I kind of wish it would snow because it's so hot to be dancing right now.
Yeah, and you came out of retirement.
I did come out of retirement. I was only supposed to dance 2 days, but I ended up dancing all 3. It was exhausting and fun. And they have made a few minor changes to some of the dances that we've done as a whole. And I've picked those up pretty quick, but my favorite is during the end of the bench dance.
Yeah.
The last third of it, all the girls go to the center table to pick up a beer that they can hoist in the air at the end of the dance. And now the shot booth workers put a shot for each girl in the middle of the table. So we all get to do a shot before we turn around and hand over our beers.
Oh, yeah. The shots were... that's only at Oktoberfest, though.
Yeah, that's only at Oktoberfest. That won't happen when because we take the bench dance on tour on occasion.
Shots are usually involved.
Yeah.
At Oktoberfest.
Oh, shots are always involved at Oktoberfest. I only had like 3-ish shots that were, I will call them comped due to me being a worker or a dancer. But then Brian and Graham showed up Friday night, which we didn't know they were going to. I mean, we kind of figured that they would show up at some point during the weekend.
They're pretty reliable. I mean, they'll show up one of the days.
Mm-hmm.
And we're there all the time, so we always run into them.
Yeah, and I have a picture of this. Brian wanted to make sure that the night was memorable.
You can't show it, though.
I can't show the picture, but it'll remind me what the name of it was. And they had these little tiny adorable bottles at one of the shop booths.
I wouldn't call it adorable. It was like in a brown paper bag.
Well, yeah, it's Underberg. It's bitters for after a good meal.
Uh-huh.
According to the label. I think it's I don't know what the ABV is. I think this says to feel bright again. I did not feel bright again.
You said it tasted like peppermint.
It tasted like herbs.
Oh.
Very strong herbs.
Yeah, I've never heard of this. I didn't have any of it.
It is a digestive bitter produced at Rheinberg in Germany. It is made from aromatic herbs from 43 countries and are formulated based on a secret recipe of the Underberg family, whose members are personally responsible for the production of the drink. So I am very surprised that we did not know what this was. It's 44% ABV. That's, by shot standards, that's pretty right. But it was so bitter because I didn't know what I was getting into either. And normally, like, Brian hands you a shot and it's going to be a good shot.
Interesting. I would say if Brian hands you something, it's interesting.
Yeah. And Brian's quote was that he could have gotten a round of apple schnapps from the shot booth, and we could have all done a shot of apple schnapps together, but that would not be as memorable as doing a shot of these bitters together. And I will say it was very memorable.
Yeah. And
I immediately did a shot of apple schnapps afterwards.
You did. Well, I didn't have any shots because I was driving home, but
Yes.
a lot of beer was had. Oh, hey, Clara.
Hey, no roughing.
There is a...
Oh my goodness, girlfriend. You're fine.
Oh, man.
Oh man, we're getting a sass queen today. I can see if I can find her food. She might be hungry. Homegirl gets...
her food's around the corner.
Yeah. Her homegirl gets anxious tummy every once in a while, especially like when we travel.
Yeah.
And she missed 2 meals and is maybe feeling some feelings about it. So vamp.
Okay. So I'm going to open this beer.
Oh no, talk about Lily at Oktoberfest.
Oh, Lily at Oktoberfest. Lily, her daughter, joined the Kleine Kinder group and in August. And she performed for the first time at Oktoberfest. They only do the little kids. These are the little kids.
It's 4 to 7 is the age range.
Yeah, they're about. We went to an event in August. I think it was Donauschwaben Day.
It was Schwaben Day that we went to.
And this was like, it was later this year. It was like mid-August.
Yeah, it was mid-August.
And the leaders kind of...
They're like, hey.
They kind of attacked us like as we walked in.
How old's Lily these days? When's she showing up to practice?
Like with love. Attacked with love.
And so like I said, well, maybe we'll show up in a week or two. Maybe we'll just wait till after Oktoberfest because she's starting back up in school. So we're going to see how that goes. And then all during Schwaben Day, all Lily wanted to do was dance and watch the dancers. And like homegirl's an extrovert. So she'll talk to people no matter what pretty much. But we were sitting a table back from the dancers. And so there was a person sitting that had 2 empty chairs next to them. And she was like, can I sit there? And I was like, I don't know, homegirl. You got to go ask. And so she just walked up to her, tapped her on the shoulder and said, can I sit next to you? And she was like, sure. She had no idea who this person was. I mean, I knew it was a club member and it was somebody that I had recognized. So I knew it was going to be fine. But she was just like, yep, okay. I want to sit right here so I can see everybody.
I mean, she knows what she wants.
She does, and she works very hard to get it. I'm very proud of her.
And she really liked to watch the dancers.
Mm-hmm.
And then, she was invited to, her birthday is early September. Yeah. So she turned 4 early September, which is the earliest point. But they were like, yeah, she can come before her birthday, which had been like...
Get a few more practices under her belt.
Yeah. And she did great.
She did. We need to work on patty cake a bit because patty cake is hard, but like her spins were on point.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Clara.
I'd say at least half the time she was like on beat or on cue. She did a very good job of like watching the older kids out the side of her eye. And like when they changed what they were doing, she would change what she was doing.
Oh, yeah.
So she would only be like a half beat behind as opposed to some of the other kids that were like 3 or 4 beats behind.
And she, as you said, she's an extrovert, but like we didn't really prepare her, I guess. Like,
hey, there's gonna be a bunch of people here. Like, it's gonna be crazy. She gave 0 Fs. Yeah,
that was kind of surprising. Like, I mean, like I said, she's been practicing for about a month.
Maybe a month and a half. We'll say she had like 5, maybe 6 practices at the most under her belt.
But Oktoberfest, they do Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon about 2 o'clock. But there was a pretty good crowd there.
Yeah.
I would say both times the shelter was basically full.
Yeah, like you wouldn't be able to find a seat. You could find a place to stand or sit on the ground, but
and
you couldn't find a
that
place
shelter
to
is
sit on a
pretty
seat.
big. I would say probably 200 people.
At the very least. Because we pack, instead of doing
Yeah, 200.
picnic tables, we do the fest tables. And the fest tables, we can fit a lot more of those under the shelter than we can with picnic tables.
Yeah, between 200 and 300 people.
At least, yeah.
Maybe more. But yeah, so that's a pretty decent crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And then for a 4-year-old to just stand in the middle of that crowd and then just do her dance, she didn't flinch. She didn't show any signs of being uncomfortable.
No, and she was like, okay, we do this again tomorrow? Sweet.
She loved it. She loved dancing with her friends. She loves dancing in general, I think. So I think we're going to continue doing it.
Mm-hmm. We have no choice. Like, so it's...
Right. Elliot we might have to Oktoberfest won't be his debut.
No.
I mean, his birthday's in February, so he'll turn 4 in February.
So there's a few other events that, there's the Easter program and there's a few other things where he could show up with a smaller crowd.
There's still about 500 members.
Yeah, there's still a bunch of people at Easter.
That's a big crowd.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just a completely different person. But
yeah. It was definitely interesting to see the dynamic of her versus the other kids. Because on Sunday I was in the booth and I said, everybody else go watch Lily. I saw her yesterday. I took care of her yesterday. You guys have her today, because all the grandparents were there and Joey and Jenna wanted to watch her dance too. So I was like, you guys all do that. I got the merch booth. There's nobody here anyway. Josh joined me about halfway through you guys watching her dance anyway. But Saturday, I had to run and get some stuff for the merch booth and come back. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking to a friend and all of a sudden I hear screaming and I'm like, well, it's Oktoberfest. Okay, that happens. And then they're like, hey, wait, turn around. One of our friends has your kid. And it's Lily just crying her eyes out. Because from what I was told, she had bonked heads with another kid. Oh, because man. As I describe it,
I forgot about this.
Children are fast, but they're not quick. So they're just running around the dance floor having the best time, and they're so fast about it, but they're not quick enough to see their friends and realize that they either need to change direction or stop and move out of the way. So her and another boy bonked heads, and the dad came up to me and said, yeah, it was my son's big head that did it. And I was like, well, it happens. Nothing to it, but just try to get through it at this point. And so I got her to calm down. We chilled out, but it was 15 minutes before they were supposed to perform. And so I'm just taking my cold mug, which at this point only had ice water in it anyway, but I'm holding it up to her face hey, does this help, honey? Let me rotate this so you get a new cold portion. And she's like, yeah, that does help, Mama. And she calms herself down. But then a bee gets too close to a girl and she has a panic attack. And I don't even think the bee touched her, but it got real up in her face, and that was not okay.
The bees were really bad.
The bees were so bad.
Were they sweat bees, I guess?
I don't think this was a sweat bee. I think it was a bit too big for that. But she ended up not doing anything until the last dance. And she sat with her parents because she was like, I can't do this. And I was like, Lily, are you okay? Lily, are you how you doing, Lily? And she's like, oh, I'm fine. As her eye is slowly turning shades of red and purple. Oh man. It healed really fast, but it was still yeah, I have to take you to the doctor on Monday. I really hope this looks okay for that.
Okay.
And it did. But yeah, she was all into it. She had the best time ever. She was smiles for most of it. She had her sassy little arms when she was walking on her own. She did everything the way she was supposed to, except for pats, which that's rough anyway.
Yeah, the girls always have their hands on their hips, and the boys have their hands one hand behind their back. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're always told to do. So the following directions, it seems like she was doing that, but
there's a little bit left in there.
Okay.
Except I need to see what it is.
You need to see what it is?
Well, if I can tell what it is.
Yeah, I guess they did a bunch of Sharpies.
No, it's like a printed label, but sometimes whatever they did, Imperial chocolate.
It's all on my hand. So you have the event from 2021 pulled up.
I do have the event from 2021 pulled up.
On Facebook.
I believe this is their Imperial Chocolate Whiskey Stout, which, yes, I mean, based on the letters that I can read, because like there's a difference in the gold where the letters were.
Yeah. So this is the same company.
Same company.
It's based in Wisconsin, right?
Yes. Okay. And it's part of the Wisconsin Brewers Guild. And this beer is 10.2%. So all this is an Imperial Chocolate Whiskey Stout. So I'm assuming you're going to get chocolate and whiskey and stout. But it's going to be strong because it's an Imperial.
Yeah, I do get whiskey. I feel like it...
I get like...
chocolate.
Definitely chocolate, but like...
on the back end.
It's a candy bar. Like almost like a Twix. Where like I'm getting like a little bit of like bready cookie with it. This is really good. Thank you so much. I'm pretty sure this was from Julia.
Does she leave it or does she give it to us?
I mean, I think they were like, we need to get rid of these beers because we have too many.
Yeah.
Here you go. And now we need to clear out our beer fridge because I am being a Karen trying to deal with our home insurance, our appliance warranty company.
Yeah, our fridge went out.
Slowly. And it took us a very hot second to notice that it was going out because it's just the compressor that went bad. Mm-hmm. So everything about it is working fine except for the main function of the fridge, which is to keep stuff cold.
Yeah, so you purchased a thermometer. I
did, and our fridge is cruising at like 50 or 55 degrees. It's supposed to be between 40 and 32.
The thermometer says 60.
Every once in a while, it hops up to 60. I'm like, yeah, this is basically like nothing.
An air conditioner.
It's not, yeah, it's just like room temperature of our house.
Yeah.
So
we originally, earlier this year, we figured out that there was like a seal issue.
It was there. So because we have the French doors with the freezer underneath, there's a little flap that goes between the two doors.
Yes.
And our flap was not always engaging to close. So you would have to open up both doors and then close that flap before you closed the door to make sure that your fridge was actually sealed and wasn't just like attempting to cool your entire house.
Yeah, and we would get ice cream, and the ice cream would be not melted, but soft.
Or it would be like everything in our fridge would have like a layer of condensation on it. It would still be cold, but it would have condensation on it because a bunch of moisture had
So originally we thought it was that flap, and we fixed it.
Because Larry did some research. We raised up the bottom of our fridge a little bit, and hey, look, the flap engages now. It's fine.
So we thought we fixed it, and then
No, we did fix it. We had the insurance company come out to look at it. They wanted like $200 to fix it because they said, well, it's a problem with you guys, not with the fridge.
Yeah, this is an inherited fridge.
Yeah, I would not have ordered this fridge, but it came with the house, so I'll take it. And then we noticed about a month ago, or a month and a half ago, it was probably about a month ago, that food was not lasting as long as it should, especially berries, and berries are expensive right now. So I got a thermometer. The fridge wasn't cold enough. The freezer wasn't cold enough. Thankfully, we had drank half the beer fridge. So we started moving food into the beer fridge, and I called up the home insurance company, and I was like, hey, we need this fixed. First technician came out, couldn't fix it. The second technician that came out couldn't fix it. So I've been on the phone with the home warranty company, being a Karen, for the last like 2 or 2.5 weeks. And it's still not resolved.
3 weeks, yep.
And I am not a happy camper because it's a known issue. If you Google LG fridge compressor, there's class action lawsuit. There's all this stuff going on with it. Just fix my fridge, please.
Yep, and I've also yelled a lot. So I'm whatever the male version of Karen is.
Yeah. I don't remember what that name is because I don't have to use it that frequently.
Anyway, what do you think about
This beer helps, though.
What do you think about this beer?
This is really yummy.
I would say this is a sipper. I'm not going
It
to
is.
finish this on camera.
This is going to make it very hard to switch to fretboard light after this.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll do it.
We have a couple crowlers of like Wee Heavy and Imperial.
We are not driving anywhere tonight. So
No, we're not driving anywhere.
we'll see what happens.
But
Yeah.
what else were you supposed to talk about? We're about
Pumpkin patches.
32 minutes in.
I think we're supposed to talk about pumpkin patches too. So we did a fall craft today, which is not pumpkin patch related. But the problem is there are like 30 pumpkin patches that I want to take the kids to, but I am in need to lock Lily down mode before.
We already went to the pumpkin patch. Why do we need to go to more?
Because it's fun. Oh my goodness. The kids need to get out and experience animals and people and new things.
But we already went to the pumpkin patch.
Once. That.
We only need to go once.
Do you know how many times Veda's been to the pumpkin patch in the last weekend? This weekend, she has been to the pumpkin patch at least 3 times.
What?
She's been to Brown's twice and Burwinkle.
Why?
Because why not?
That's expensive.
You don't have to buy things.
Oh, well.
Or you just buy like small things. So today, since we're in like, I don't feel like I can take the kids all over town going to all of these pumpkin patches because I need to keep Lily healthy before she gets a minor surgery so she can get that minor surgery. We did a fall craft where I got some contact paper. I didn't have a Sharpie, but I used black yarn. And I feel like I like the black yarn way better than the Sharpie anyway. And I made the outline of a pumpkin.
Should I go get it?
You can go get it.
Is it on the wall?
It is stuck to the window with 2 pieces of duct tape.
Keep going.
I will keep going. So, got some contact paper, put an outline of a jack-o'-lantern on this, went outside with the kids and said, pick up some leaves. If it's on a tree, it's got to stay on the tree. Anything on the ground pretty much is fair game except for pine cones. Oh my goodness, Elliot wanted to pick up so many pine cones. And I was like, I can't put this in the contact paper, bub. I'm sorry. So the kids made leaf jack-o'-lanterns. And now, like, I can see, like, us doing this 3 years from now. And at least Lily, like, tears up the leaves and, like, the eyes are a different color than the rest of it. And, like, the stem is actually, like, a leaf that's green or something like that. But for now, like, I really love these. We're going to be doing a lot more contact paper crafts. If I have my way, and I think that I will, my goal is that we have a fall fun fest that our friend is having at her house. I'm going to bring a handful of crafts there because, like, she has the house and she has the fun, but she doesn't deal with small children that much because her nieces and nephews are older. So I'm going to bring the more age-appropriate crafts for the kids because I think the other kid is, like, 6 months or a year older than Lily. But everybody else is, like, Lily and Elliot's age. Oh, I forgot I muted you. Lily and Elliot's age or younger.
There it is.
Festive.
It's crooked.
So I'm going to bring some crafts and I'm going to practice doing them with multiple kids at once or like having stations that the kids can bounce through. Because I was thinking about doing it for fall, but I don't think that's going to happen at this point, especially with the way our schedule is turning out. But for Christmas, I definitely want to do a Saturday at our house, schedule a 2-hour window. Like it'll be like between 8 and 10 hours ish, but like friends can like pick a 2-hour window and they can come to our basement and it'll be like, here are 4 or 5 crafts that your kid can go through. You don't need the supplies. You don't need to do the cleanup. You just show up and you've got like something with a handprint, something with a footprint, something that they've made themselves. So you've got like those milestone memories that you want every year, but you especially like as a mom that works and has small kids, it's hard to do that. Where like last year with the kids, it was like, I think Hillary came over because she like had some time and she was like, hey, can I just hang out at your house for a few hours? And I was like, yeah. And actually, while you're here, we can help each other out. Like, I'll help you get some footprint and some handprint crafts of your kid, and you help me do that with my kids. And this is the only way that we actually had like the next year's crafts of our kids, because I have like handprint and footprint crafts that I did with Lily when she was a baby. I think I missed the year that Elliot was a baby. And then the year after we did like...
Poor Elliot.
We did different handprint and footprint things. Like instead of doing just ghosts and candy corn, like I did gravestones and something, spiders and something else.
We're doing that with Elliot.
Yeah. Well, I think I did do it with... Maybe I did do it with both of them then. I got to go through our fall baskets and figure out what stuff that we have. Because I wrote on the back of everything what it was. But like trying to come up with like a, hey, if I can figure out how to set this up in the basement with tablecloths and stuff, I get our kids through these crafts, but I also help our friends get their kids through these crafts. And I just say it's like $5 per kid, but you end up with like 5 or 6 crafts.
Oh, yeah.
I get some craft supplies out of our basement. I might end up buying some more craft supplies in the process, though.
No, don't do that.
And then...
You don't need any more craft supplies.
Everybody gets memories that last forever. Because, like, the thing I like to do, too, with the kids now especially is like, oh, Lily, look at this handprint. This was you when you were a baby. Oh, my goodness. Because she's in size 13 shoes now.
Size, like, what size dress? 8?
Oh, no. So she's in, like, a 5, like, an extra small or, like, a small kids dress, which is, like, a 6-7. The 8 is very big on her, but, like, it's going to fit her through the spring at least. Because Lily has a friend that's a year older than her who's in size like 11 shoes. And then I was talking to somebody and I was like, yeah, Lily's in size 13 shoes. And they're like, that's the same size shoes our 7-year-old is in. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, Lily just turned 4. She is growing her base so she can get so big.
It's like a Great Dane puppy.
Yeah. So I think by like
the equivalent.
By 5th or 6th grade, Lily's going to be able to wear my clothes. If not before then, I don't know, man.
3rd grade. We have a dog that is right here. I don't think you can see.
You can't.
Her.
Oh, there's her nose. Hi, Clara. Hi, boys.
She is very anxious right now.
We don't normally record in this space, and maybe that's what it is.
Maybe, yeah.
But also, she has not eaten in the last 24 plus hours.
I don't know why.
I'm going to shove food down her throat after this, and then she'll finally eat. Sometimes she just needs to be reminded what food is.
Yeah, she's very anxious.
So back to pumpkin patches. Because we never actually talked about pumpkin patches. We took Lily and Elliot to Brown's Family Farm Market.
Yeah, both of them.
Which is our favorite farm market to go to. You pay for the hayride, you pay for the barrel train, but everything else is free other than the stuff that you buy, like pumpkins and food and decor and stuff like that.
I mean, the price isn't that bad.
No, it really isn't. We almost went to some farm up in Loveland because Hillary invited us one night. That one was a bit more pricey, but it's like everything is included in the price. But like at Brown's, like they have a gravel shed and you can play in the gravel shed for free. Like this place, it's like, yeah, you got to pay, but then you can go play in their corn bin or whatever. And they've got like a giant bounce house.
Yeah, how rude, Clara.
So rude.
Is she going to eat it?
Don't acknowledge her.
Okay.
You said something. You jinxed it.
All right.
So we almost went to that, but the kids hadn't napped and Elliot wasn't feeling the best. So I was like, yeah, sorry, we can't go. So next year, I think we're going to go to a lot of pumpkin patches.
Mm.
There will only be a pumpkin patch that we will buy pumpkins, like big pumpkins at. But there will be more opportunities for me to buy small pumpkins and home decor.
I have not been told this plan.
So this year we brought the double stroller, which we normally do, and then we had the wagon with the pumpkins on it, and the kids wanted to sit in the wagon with the pumpkins, so I filled the double stroller up with decorative pumpkins because I wanted to make our front yard full of pumpkins. And then like 4 days after I did that, a deer ate Joe's pumpkin.
Oh, it was my pumpkin?
I'm like 75% sure that it was your pumpkin because I don't think it was mine. And I know it wasn't one of the, it was your pumpkin.
We have a Ring camera.
Yeah. So
and we have it on video.
I have screenshots of deer eating pumpkin. Because
It devoured it.
It did.
And there's seeds everywhere.
We're going to end up with pumpkin patch in our front yard next year. I already know it.
We won't have to go to the pumpkin patch. We'll have pumpkins.
Our own.
Yeah.
So
they pumpkins take up a lot of space. They
do. But like the deer eat all of the plants in our front yard. It doesn't matter what it is, they try to eat it. But so I woke up, I left the house for work, and I noticed that the pumpkin looked like it had been smashed and taken to the side. And I was like, well, I didn't get a Ring notification that teenage boys came through, because it like seemed like somebody had like thrown it on the ground. And so then I throw the remains of the pumpkin away so Lily doesn't see it, or it's not as noticeable when Lily goes to school.
Okay, so you threw it away.
I did throw it away.
I thought because there was devoured it.
There was like 2-ish thirds of the pumpkin left, but like most of the innards were gone. It was not structurally sound anymore. Definitely not okay to carve. So I threw the pumpkin away so Lily hopefully wouldn't notice before she left for school. And I don't think that she did. And I look at the Ring camera and it's just like deer eating pumpkin over here, deer eating pumpkin over here, deer eating pumpkin over there. And then now there is no deer. And it was like 30 plus minutes before I left for work. And I was like, oh, I almost caught him in the act. Because I caught a deer in the act eating our flowers one morning. And I was like, what you doing? It's like, ah.
Did he run away?
Yeah. I was like, I caught you. Stop it. And then we got some corroborated by Reddit, but weird advice from Joe's dad on how to handle the problem.
Corroborated on Reddit?
I Googled how to get natural deer repellent, and Reddit said, do that. And I was like, what? Okay, I guess this is a thing. Oh,
the advice was just for me to pee. Specifically me to pee.
Yep, so pee around your house. If you don't want to pee outside, pee into a container that you can then pour outside.
I would heavily recommend do not do that. Do not pee outside.
Yeah, I mean, you can get in lots of trouble for that. So yeah, don't do it. But yeah, so deer ate one of the pumpkins that we got at the pumpkin patch, which just means that I need to go to the pumpkin patch again to get more pumpkins.
No, because it was my pumpkin.
I mean, Elliot did come home with 2 pumpkins, but one of them was like this big. It was itty bitty baby pumpkin, but he was so emotionally attached to that for a very hot second. Yeah. Like that weekend, he wanted to take that pumpkin everywhere. And I'm like, Bud, the pumpkin lives outside. Here are small pumpkins, small decorative pumpkins. You guys can play with those inside all day long. Because what I have found,
oh my God,
parenting advice.
He did a tantrum.
He did a big tantrum.
Like I've never seen him do a tantrum like that.
He cried the entire way to the restaurant. Did not stop. Nothing would console him. But what I have figured out as a now experienced parent is when you go to the pumpkin patch, you get a few of those like handheld mini pumpkins that are just perfect for tiny hands to hold. It gives them something to do when you're taking pictures. So you're more likely to get a good picture out of them. But also those mini pumpkins, because they're so dense, are virtually indestructible. So our kids play with them from when we get them in the pumpkin patch until Thanksgiving. And they'll throw them around. They carry them all over the house. Elliot took one of his around for like 3 or 4 days. Everywhere he went, that little pumpkin went.
Yep.
As opposed to like the giant, because like the little pumpkin that he got is a traditional pumpkin carving pumpkin, but it only got so big. So it's still pretty soft on the inside, and it doesn't really feel like it's going to hold up very well to, hey, I accidentally or on purpose threw you off of the kitchen table onto the tile. These little pumpkins hold up through everything. So get a bunch of those and then like have a spot where you set them up, but then the kids can rearrange them, and like you don't care what this part of the house looks like, but it has some pumpkins in it. Yeah. Do that.
Yeah, he really likes the little pumpkins. Like the little pumpkins. He got a normal sized pumpkin from the pumpkin patch, and then I don't know how he got this from us, but he also got like
it was because
in between size between like this big to like it's about this big.
He had already picked out his pumpkin patch pumpkin, but then he got very attached to that little pumpkin patch pumpkin.
Relatively little, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, this isn't worth the fight. It's going to be like $4 to buy this pumpkin because it's so tiny. Like, we'll just bring it home too. It's fine.
Yeah, so I guess I get his pumpkin and he gets the green one because he picked out a green one. Elliot is very into green.
So right into now. Green. But the thing is, those green pumpkins do not stay green for long. Oh. Hi. Speak of him and he shall come. Can you wave?
He's not on camera.
I know he's not on camera, but can you wave, little dude? No? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this has been the Craft Parenting Podcast. We now have to deal with the parenting problem. You can find him, aka Joe, on Instagram at Craft Parenting Joe. I am at Caroline Creates Crafts, and I had a post today, and it was about this thing. So like maybe I'm gonna post more. We shall see. You can find us. Hey, the other one's awake too. At Craft Parenting Podcast on most social media platforms. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Toothbrush. We would like to brush our teeth again. Sweet. So I'm going to hit this button.
Thanks so much for having us. We'll see you next time.